Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my March 2021 stats. Sorry, this is so late. It has been a month. Anyway, so I'm going to go through my trusty little list of talking about my reading, as in numbers. So, anyway, let's just jump into this because this is really late. So, in March, I did read 10 books. 8 of them were physical. 1 was an ebook, and I did have 1 audiobook, but that was a reread. So that's how I equal to 10. So again, I read more physically in March, which is nice. I had 4 graphic novels or mangas. 3 of them were graphic novels, so I counted them, and then 1 of them was a manga, which I don't count in my numbers for books read. I don't know why. There's just something about that. I've always counted manga differently. I don't know why. And then number 3 is how many Dnfs did I have? And I have 1 DNF, and yet I have put it back on my TBR. So it is a book that I only read 20 some pages. I think that's 20 or 30 pages. And I think it was just not the right time for it. So I keep hearing really good things about it, so I put it back on my TBR. So I have a DNF, but I'm also... I put it back on my TBR. So it's just a DNF for now, if that makes any sense. How many books did I put on my TBR that I was going to read this month? I put 4 of them. I read 3 of them and put 1 of them on hold. Red Comet by Heather Clark about Sylvia Plath just was striking me the wrong. It was just, I've gotten partway through it, but I just couldn't get myself to read it in March, so I've put that off. I will return to it at some point. That is not the one I DNF'd. That one I knew I was putting on hold. That's a different, I don't know, maybe it's technically, maybe I should have said that. Things I think about after I started this video. Anyway, that's fine. So how many of the physical books did I read that were on my shelf? Where I read 4 books from my shelf and I read 4 from the library. So, not great on that, of the, my 50-50 on my physicals. How many books were I still currently reading as we changed into the next month? I was still currently reading 3 of them that I had not finished. Let's see, how many books did I buy this month? Yeah, so in March, I kind of went crazy. I would like to say that. I spent a lot of money that I got from certain things. And I just decided, I bought 38 books. So that was a little excessive, but it's done now. But of those, I have read 3 of them. And then I've DNF'd 1 already. So 34 are on my TBR. Whoops. And then the pages read for the month was 4,407. So that came out to an average of 142.2 pages a day, which is great for me. Like, as I said, anything over 100 is great. My average, I want to make at least is 50 pages per day on average for the month. Anything over that is good. 100 plus is where I'm shooting for. Even though my goal is low, it's just so I make sure I am still reading. But the goal that I set in my heart is usually over 100. So to get 142 pages per day is really good for me. Pages per book on average. So of the books that I read, the average page count. Now this is really high because of 1 book, which will be pretty obvious. But my average page count per book in this month was 455 pages. So this is way higher than every other month that I've done this so far, because this is one of my newer stats. Usually I'm about the 300 range, but there's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a minute. For gender, I had 5 male and 5 female authors. So that was kind of weird. It was a 50% split. I usually am higher towards female, but it was that this month was a split. I only read 1 translated book, so that's only 10%, so not my best month on that. And then by POC authors, I had 2, so I was just 20%. So again, both of those could be better. My star ratings, I had 1 5-star read, 5 4-star reads and 3 3-star reads. And then again, one was a reread, which I didn't make a star, but it was a 5 from before. So anyway, but I don't count that one that way. The genres I read, sorry, Cooper is just on my lap here. The genres I read was classics. I read 2 science fiction, I read 1 mystery and 2 memoirs, and then I read 1 contemporary. Is that right? 1 contemporary middle grade? No, I read 1 contemporary and 1 middle grade. Sorry, my little notes here, I didn't do very good. So, I mean, this is kind of average. I mean, I did actually more sci-fi than I have in a while, which is really good. I need to, as I said, I have quite a bit of that I need to read, and I haven't been reading as much. So this year I've definitely gotten a couple, which is good. So then my favorite book of the month is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I don't think it was any surprise. I spent all month reading this. I loved this book all the way through. It was, again, Alexander Dumas is one of my favorite authors from the Three Musketeers series, which I still have to complete that saga. But I put this off, and then I did this for March of the Mammoths, and I did this with a bunch of other booktubers. Summer at Quaker, Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats put on a read-along through Voxer, and it was fantastic. I mean, I read it faster than anybody else, but then I made a point I was going to finish it within the month. And I'm glad I did. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was one of the best books I've read ever. Definitely, if I had to do a top 10 right now, this would probably replace like knock some books off that list, or at least one of the books off that list. So I really enjoy this. I cannot wait for a reread of this, which I think I'll probably do an audio at some point, maybe in the next year or two. So fantastic. I loved this. Anyway, so clearly that was my favorite book of the month. And that was what skewed my pages per book, because that one was over 1,243 pages. And then my least disappointment is not the DNF, because I'm not counting that one as that, because I didn't get far enough to really count that. But I would just say this is the most disappointing, because I was really hoping to love this, and that is The Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Marina Garcia. So I still want to read Mexican Gothic and try more of her books. This book was, there was so much potential of all the aspects of this, like the magic and the world building and stuff. And I just felt the journey wasn't what I expected or what I wanted. I love the way it ended. Like, it made sense to me how it went that way. Like, I'm glad that's what happened. In the way, so it still had a good ending, but it was just like, there's parts of the journey where I'm like, why? Yeah, I wanted more of certain things. But that doesn't mean I didn't like this book. I really enjoyed this book. This was still a solid 3-star read. I just wish there was a little bit more things that I wanted in it, I guess. And so it's just on here as a disappointment, because I was really hoping for more. I was really hoping that this would be a really high 4 or maybe even a 5 for me, but it just wasn't. And again, it does not make this a bad book. This is actually, it was really hard for me to pick a book that I would say I was disappointed in from what I read in March. I really had a good reading month overall. So really, that was kind of it. And that's kind of like that. So here, let me quickly show my cat. Oh, dude, cat. Okay. Sorry, Cooper, you need to go. He's just being a brat. But that's what he does. Anyway, so just really quickly of showing my book journal. So you can totally see I bought way too many books. I went beyond the graph. So I'm going to try not to do that again this year, but I'm hopeful. This month I'm not going to be anywhere near that, which is good, but next month May is my birthday months, which I have a tendency to buy a lot of books, and then my dad and I are planning to do some book shopping together, so it's going to be bad then too. But anyway, hoping to do better. Here is my my Pixel reading. So as I said, it's hard for you guys to tell, but it's really, if you look in the greens and the pinks, that's kind of my mid-range. That's where I want to be reading every day. And then anything that's blue and purple are higher days, and then yellow, red, and orange are the low days, you know, are not as high as I would like more. So, I mean, I did fairly well, so it's just fun to look at. I know it's kind of hard to see. So here's my, oh, I finally can, well, not yet, I have to take that off this month. So again, this is my, what books I've read from my personal library, and then this is from the public library of what I've read. So I have read a lot of library books this year so far. This blue one is a by accident. I put an audiobook over here that it was supposed to go over here. So this actually, I will, in April, will be able to take my little sticky off to say that it's incorrect. But right now, that's really what it is. I hadn't listened to any of my own, in 3 months, I didn't listen to any of my own audiobooks. I listened to library ones because there's a couple over there. Anyway, so as I said, green is physical, blue is audio, and red are ebooks. So I'm trying to get more ebooks, so I'm working on it. We'll see. And then I've done my series tracker, but I've done it also through part of April. I'd already done part of these, so a couple of these. So there's nothing super new. I mean, I did add the Kate Daniels, which will, again, not be for this month. It's April. But, you know, I've gotten a few in there. So I mean, I'm making some progress in some series. So there's not much to say because I didn't really, yeah, the only one I added really was the one for A Memory of Empire. So the Kalana series, I have the one of 2, so I've read 1 book. So that was the only one I really added for this month. But and also I read I finished one of the Barchester series for Anthony Trollope. So that's the only ones I really added for this month, or for, yeah, to the yearly things. So then the only other thing to show is my reading. So my reading was, as I said, it was a really good month. I have a lot of good a lot of big days. I had a couple of days off, or I had a day off down here. This is where I finished the Count of Monte Cristo. I read a lot on that Monday when I finished it, and the weekend as well. So I did, you know, I got a lot done. And then this one day I read a lot of stuff. It was one Saturday or Sunday that I read a lot. Actually, it goes off the chart. It was because it was I had over 400 pages that month, that day. And that's so unusual. I don't usually read that much. But one of them was a middle grade, so that probably helped. But anyway, so that's it. That's my stats. I didn't keep my board, so I can't show you that. I totally forgot. Whoops. So that's just how it goes. So, but my prompt board did work. it just wasn't as much checked off as I wanted, I guess. So that's it. That's all I got. I hope that you guys are, that you enjoyed this. Again, it's just people who like stats. I don't know if any of that made sense. I don't know. It's been a time. Anyway, any questions on any of these, let me know. As I said, I like to do my stats every month. Again, I'm a little late. And then I do mid-year and then the final year ones as well. Kind of wrap-ups on all the stats. So anyway, if you have anything you think I should be tracking, let me know. I don't mind adding anything. It should be fun. I love all that stuff. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.